Hello, my name's Murgatroyd Monaghan. I'm going to be reading you just a teaser of my story, The Newborn Photographer. I hope you enjoy it. Gently, she splashed the warm water over the baby's skin, taking care with her soft cloth to wipe away water from the thick-lashed eyes, the ruby lips, the button nose. The curves of the cheek and the belly were perfect, as they always were with newborns. She smiled as she leaned into the hair, taking in the scent. Nothing in nature compared to the scent of newborn baby. Singing softly, she worked her way down toward the little toes, commenting here and there on the perfection of them, offering a tiny kiss or a nibble before placing the toes gently back under the swirling water. Mom and Dad were waiting in the next room to take photographs. The first bath was a time of intimacy and deep care, and she always offered this moment to parents themselves to take advantage of the closeness it offered. But she never pushed, knowing that parents go through so much to bring themselves to this moment. The deep physical and emotional fatigue, the disbelief, the great many feelings. She knew that some parents welcomed the opportunity for someone to bathe and dress their child, someone else to place the child straight into their tired arms, someone who cared nearly as much as they did, if that was at all possible. And that was what she was here for. She was the only photographer she knew who bathed and dressed the infants she photographed as part of the package. She was an expert at her job, and she had found over the years that it was the bath that made all the difference in her subject. For the photograph to be perfect, for it to mean as much as it would mean, the bath was essential. This little one was just about done, and she placed him gently in the fluffy towel she'd laid out for him. Wrapping him expertly as she'd done hundreds of times before, she tucked each corner into place as she dried his fine hair gently. Floating from the next room came the sounds of confusing voices, the lilt and flow of silent interchange that she'd grown expert at detecting. "Well, that's just someone come to bring your mummy and daddy some paperwork for you," she whispered kindly. "Not to worry. We'll get you all perfect, and we'll go in there together." The lotion she chose was a smell she found parents appreciated, whether they knew it or not. A light odor that was fresh but pungent enough to stay immortalized in olfactory memory. A scent that was reassuring and innocent. Rubbing carefully under the towel so as to keep the baby warm, she finished and began to dress him. Some parents brought elaborate outfits, and some only simple vests or sleepers. Some brought no clothes at all, and she didn't judge these parents. She kept a stack of clothing for these families. Today's parents had brought a striped blue and white one-piece pajama outfit. "You're going to look just like a very handsome sailor," she said, approving. The large diaper really wasn't necessary, but she found that parents noticed the absence of it if it wasn't put on. So she chose a name-brand diaper and smiled as she put the last sticky tab in place. "Almost ready, mister." It was beginning to get a little bit cold. The newborns were always so fragile. Swaddling him in a blanket, she applied a small heating pack below it. There, that would help. She applied the finishing touch deftly, lovingly, a little blue hat, just perfect for his very tiny newborn head. Pulling it down gently to just below his hairline, she took a moment to admire him in all his beauty. How lovely, she thought. There was a time when the photographer and her husband had wanted children of their own very much. Back then, lying awake at night, her husband would bury his face in her neck, his strong hand tracing the smooth curves of her thighs, murmuring peaceful dreams of the family they would one day be blessed to start. These days, she always felt close to her husband when she was at work. She knew now that they would never have children of their own, but she had known the pleasure of so many beautiful children through her job, and this was her focus. Lifting today's child as carefully as she could, she carried him through the doorway. This moment was different for everyone. Some mothers craned their necks, wanting every glimpse to sink into their memory of this moment. Some mothers averted their eyes, tired, as if wishing that they could have kept their children in the cocoon of their wombs forever. This mother reached her arms out, wanting to take her beautiful son from the photographer's arms as soon as she could. It was the father that averted his eyes, refusing to watch his wife take their son in his arms. The photographer knew this happened too. It was her job to help. Taking the paperwork kindly from the father's hands, she placed it on the table beside them and looked purposefully into his eyes. "You have a beautiful son," she declared. The father did not respond. This was okay. This was part of her job too. She tried something. "What have you named him?" "Jeremy." And that's all I'm going to read of that, but I hope I've piqued your curiosity, and I hope that you'll read the whole story when it comes out in this issue. It's called The Newborn Photographer. So have a wonderful time. Enjoy listening to the rest of the readings and the poetry, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.